I'm interviewing Matt Lestik. He's a cosplayer who's currently cosplaying as.
Ash Ketchum going the original outfit from like the uh, Indigo League.
Nice. Nice. So, Matt, how did you discover cosplaying?
So I had always kind of heard of it, but never really knew much about it. I grew up in a slightly more strict Christian home where I couldn't even go trick or treating, so I didn't even get costumes then. But then one day, a buddy of mine was throwing a swing dance just because that's what he liked to do. It's how he socialized, and he made it a costume party.
Nice.
And I didn't think I was even going to make it because I had work that day. But last minute, I learned, oh, I can make it. So I just threw something together. When as generic rock star with stuff I already had, then I realized, hey, this is fun. And then it just kind of rolled next. He did these like once or twice a year. So I would start
Yeah,
like scheduling off work and it just rolled from there. And I'm like, this is awesome.
that's cool. So, what was your official first cosplay?
The official first cosplay was Minecraft Steve. I had found some like at thrift store, like the official like branded masks of like both his head and a creeper, and
Nice.
used some like soda boxes, like the long skinny 12 packs,
Hmm.
put them on my arms, made a pickaxe, and even used the creeper head in a vacuum cleaner box to make a life-size creeper.
That's smart. That I would have never thought of the 12-pack soda boxes for your arms. That's very smart.
I thank you.
Nice. So, what are your next cosplay plans? Are you working currently on some cosplays?
Well, to be technical, the ash isn't quite done. There's a little sewing around the edges. Like technically his gloves are green, but these I had from said generic Rockstar cosplay.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm working on that and also finishing up a costume for Jean Arc from the Ruby series by Rooster Teeth.
Nice. So, have you ever been in a cosplay contest?
I have been in it was a like amateur cosplay contest, so not like the big pros. But the convention I like to go to every year had one. I went as Link and actually placed in third.
Nice. So, during the pandemic, a lot of cosplayers are stressing because they don't have the convention going on. And a lot of them are losing money because of such. They are not able to guest at conventions. They're not allowed to sell their wares, where like a lot of cosplayers like to sell their old cosplays to make money for new cosplays. So, how are you coping with the pandemic, knowing that we don't have any conventions going on?
So it has been driving me nuts not getting to go to conventions. I do have a day job, so I'm not worried about like that's my source of income. I have yet to make any money from cosplay. It's just been for fun. Um, but it has given me more time for like costumes that I know will take a little longer. It's actually giving me bit more time to work on them. So that way, when the cons do come back, I will be set.
Nice. So, when you do make your cosplays, do you prefer sewing, armor making, or wig working?
I guess what I would fall under is armor making, um, particularly like prop weapons and that kind of thing. That's what I really have fun with. I had some buddies from the college I went to that were graduating that were huge Kingdom Hearts fans. So with some EVA foam and PVC pipe, I made them keyblades, and it was just so
Mm.
fun. So that's kind of my strong suit, what I have most fun with.
Mhm.
But I it has definitely improved my sewing skill having gotten into cosplay.
Nice. So, when you do your armor making, what go tos do you use? Do you use EVA foam or do you like to use Warbler?
So what I've used so far is EVA. Um, and then for like the genre costume I'm working on, I actually found some like martial arts armor. So it was already like padded foam that I used as the base, and then
Nice.
more just added the coloring and decoration. But for armor, so far it's been EVA. I haven't looked a whole lot into Warbler yet.
Yeah. So when you do photo shoots for your cosplays, are you more of a green screen, or do you think you like to go to the locations, or do you just take your pictures at conventions all the time?
I more just do the pictures at conventions. Um, so far I haven't done like an official shoot.
Yeah,
It's more like when I'm with other cosplayers, it's like, yeah, game pictures. I do like if someone else I found has a cosplay that corresponds to what I'm doing. I love posing with them. I have a folder on Facebook that will be on Instagram when I make an official cosplay Insta. That's just me in my Mario costume squaring off with other characters from Super Smash Bros.
nice, nice. So, is there a type of character that you cosplay frequently? Would Ash be your go-to character right now?
Ash would be right now. Mario was for a while just because it's a simple one overalls, shirt, hat, take it anywhere.
Yeah,
But whereas like the Link or Minecraft Steve have more props that are a bit more complicated to lug around everywhere. So
yeah.
Ash or Mario are the go tos.
And do you have any favorite cosplayers?
I do not. I do know there is a YouTuber who he's called Beatdown Boogie.
Mm-hmm.
He isn't so much the cosplayer, but he goes to cons all over the country, and I think he's gone outside country too, and will just get videos of all the different cosplayers, but it's done in a very professional video style.
Nice.
So I like doing that because it gets more variety. It gives some people who maybe have um I get much like you're doing less publicity. It gives
Mhm.
them more of a chance, that kind of thing.
Nice. So, what is the most detailed cosplay you've ever done?
The most detail would probably be the Link costume that I
Hmm.
have. It has, for one, the most props, and you can kind of see them around the window behind me.
Yeah.
It's kind of hidden by Pikachu's head, but the shield I have for it,
Hmm.
my sister actually made it. There, you can see it better
Oh,
now. Thanks.
nice.
Um, it's hard to see on the video, but it's actually a back support like people you put in office chairs that my
Oh,
sister wove yarn into the mesh to make the shield, and we just use some hangers to give it a bit more shield shape.
nice.
So my sister's very much a cosplay too. Shout out to Amy. Um,
Ni-
so that by far, and like I said, all the details, the sword, the Wind Waker, the boomerang, the ocarina, having the most props probably has the most detail, and then like the tunic and whatnot are currently in the closet.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. So when I bought, well, when I made my Link cosplay, we had a 3D printer print the shield and sword. Yeah. Because
I
so
would love to have a 3D
man,
printer, but that
anybody who
ha-
makes it by hand, props. That is insanely detailed. Yeah. So, what are your three craftsmanship tips that you could offer for anybody making cosplays?
have fun with it. If you're not having fun, then what's the point? And I know that sounds cheesy, but if it's something like, well, my friend really wants me to do it, get that, but at the same time, make sure you're still having fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
Tip number two, lean into your strengths. I'm much more like the, as we said, the armor making, the swords, the prop making.
Mm-hmm.
My sister, who I tag team with a lot, she's a whole lot better with the sewing and that kind of thing. So lean into your strengths, and that kind of goes into number three. If you find someone to tag team with, you can come out with much more than you could by yourself.
Very nice. So, what is your favorite cosplay that you've done? Your favorite one? That's
See,
hard.
that's hard to say because part of it's like the most recent one because that's the one that's got all the excitement in
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Um, the Minecraft Steve is definitely more unique. You don't see as much of those. You'll see
Mm-hmm.
more Pokemon trainers, Links, Mario's, that kind of thing. Um, but I'll probably say probably the Link costume.
Mhm.
The Link costume is the one that won third place in that costume contest.
Yeah.
And part of the reason I did that well is all the work my sister did in that shield, so I can't take full credit. But
Yeah.
I think that one, the Link.
Nice. So, do you have any cosplay horror stories?
Um, so same costume contest previous year. I was using the Minecraft Steve costume,
Hmm.
and while on stage, the pickaxe I had made broke. Um,
Oh,
so it was just made of some like greenish color panel insulation
yeah.
foam, which is great because it's already the color of a diamond pickaxe.
Of
But
course.
it's a bit more fragile, so it kind of broke. And I'm in this box of a mask, so I couldn't even fully see it during my time on stage. The one thing I'm grateful for is breaking tools is a mechanic in Minecraft, so it's like, yeah, it's that.
Yeah.
But that's probably the greatest horror story I've had.
So, what about the funniest cosplay story?
Um, funniest. Um, I'm not sure if this entirely counts, but I mentioned that YouTuber Beat Down Boogie. I
Hmm.
did appear in one of his videos.
Nice.
However, I was not the featured cosplayer in the shot. You just see me in the background with my friends. So during a game of two truths and a lie, I can say I was in a professional cosplay video. I never said
Technically.
I was the featured cosplayer.
Technically. Yeah, it's always fun to watch those videos from conventions and saying, okay, was I accidentally shot in there?
And
Yeah.
like I was at the convention before I knew about the YouTuber, and I'm like, next time I go back, I'll need to keep an eye out for him.
You're like, do, 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 do. Be in the background. That would be
Or
fun.
again, it's like, wait, you're that guy. You want to feature me?
Yeah, exactly, right? No, it's pretty crazy. So now a lot of people say that cosplayer and cosplaying in general is basically a female dominated industry. Would you agree?
Mm, I maybe see slightly more female cosplayers, slightly,
Hmm.
but I've really not bothered to count a lot. But I definitely see a lot from both sides, so I don't want guys to think, no, it's a girly thing. It's definitely not.
No, we definitely need more attention to male cosplayers, in my opinion. Because, let's face it, in society, sex sells, and
Mhm,
a lot of female cosplayers like to use their assets to be able to attract people. And of course, the most people who do follow anime and comics and everything are boys and men, and so they do have a leg up in the industry. However, we need more males to come out and say, hey, let's, shine some attention on me. And there are lots of cosplayers, that are amazing. Like, for instance, Sparkinson cosplay. He's an amazing cosplayer, and he's actually gotten featured at Disney ME for his Meg gender bend cosplay from Hercules. So it's really cool how, yes, it's a female dominated industry, but more and more we're seeing men come into the fray.
mhm.
Um, so what is the best in character interaction that you've had while in cosplay?
The best in character interaction, well, like I said, whenever I'm a Smash Bros. Character, I like posing with other Smash Bros. Characters.
Yeah.
But probably my favorite one, it was the same year I was in the Link costume. I found this mom and little girl who were both cosplaying as Zelda as from Ocarina of Time.
Nice.
The daughter was in the like girl version, whereas the mom was in the like time travel version.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like to perform anyway, but I'm like, guys can't get a picture. And I'm just having these interactions with this little girl, treating her as if she is actually Princess Zelda, and she just
Yeah.
loved it.
Nice. Very nice. It's always fun when you're interacting with people in at conventions and everything like that. So, what are your go-to stores for your materials or full-on cosplays?
Um, so far, I have yet to buy an actual like store-made cosplay. It has all been like self-made.
Hmm.
Me and or my sister, because again, she sews better.
Yeah.
Um, so where I go to a lot lately for like making props and that kind of thing, I actually go to a lot of thrift stores. My Ash Ketchum jacket, it was two shirts I found at a thrift store that it was a blue shirt with long sleeves and like the color matched, and a white shirt that I hybrid them together myself.
Hmm.
So thrift stores a lot because again, it can be a more expensive hobby. Save money where you can because I'm not making money from it yet.
Of course.
And then for the props, since I use a lot of the like EVA foam, hot glue gun, and PVC, I might even just go to a local hardware store to get materials like that.
Yeah. Nice.
So I don't do a lot yet, at least with official cosplay stores. I have seen a few on Miko Costumes Facebook page that I'm like, I need to pay rent, but if I didn't, I'd love to get
Right.
that.
Right, exactly. It's always there. You can go to procosplay.com to get full on cosplays made. But, and then you can go to you know, Superheroes Unlimited to get an actual person making your actual cosplay instead of a machine like factory built. Like
Mhm,
procosplay.com, you're going to go get the factory built. Whereas with Superheroes Unlimited, you're going to pay a higher price, but you're going to get an actual person who's making the cosplay and talking with you and saying, "Okay, I just did this. Does this look good to you?" You know,
mhm.
whereas like an Assassin's Creed, for instance, will cost you $50 to $60, or no, or $200 on Pro Cosplay. Whereas with Heroes United Unlimited or Superheroes Unlimited, it'll cost you 1,500.
Yeah.
Because because the designer is working with you and getting exactly everything that you want, from the boots, from the hidden blade, everything. So
Mhm.
it all depends on where you want to go for that.
Yeah.
You know,
So
and
sometimes I think
but
because
making it yourself is the blood, sweat, and tears of
yeah,
cosplay.
and it
The
gets a
essence.
more personal touch.
Hmm.
No one else in the world has a hand woven backrest Hylian shield.
There you
That
go. No one
that's one of
does.
a kind.
Yep.
Yes, there's something I feel like cosplay, there's a certain point if you're actually going to try and do contests and
Hmm.
competitions, it can't be just store bought because that's
No.
what everyone else has. You need that personal touch, whether it be
Yeah.
through the Superheroes Unlimited or do it yourself. That's
Yeah.
where you get that personal touch that takes it to the next level.
Yeah. Exactly. So you mentioned you cosplay with your sister a lot. So what did you ever do a duo cosplay before? A
Um,
team cosplay?
we have not yet. We have a like a list a mile long of cosplays we want to do.
Right.
Um, but again, finances and just still have
Time and
yeah
yeah.
time and that kind of thing. We haven't yet, so there are plenty we want to do. It is a little hard at times because sometimes it's like, oh, I want to cosplay that character. I want to cosplay that character, except in their
They're
respective
two different genres, two different areas. Yeah.
well, in their respective in like the characters we want to cosplay, the respective characters are often like an item, and I don't want people to think me and my sister are an item.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
that's Kentucky level stuff, man. We gotta
yeah, I,
avoid we gotta avoid that.
I people have made that mistake a couple times, even if we weren't in costume. So we kind of want to avoid that. So it's
Yeah.
like, wait, there's siblings in that. Yes, we're doing that one.
Yeah. No, exactly. Because somebody once did a Kirito and Asuna cosplay, right? And they were brother and sister.
Mm-hmm.
And people were like, oh, so you guys are dating and you're guys a couple, huh? And it's like, no, this is my sister. I was like, dude, did you see the anime?
Now, that's why we have actually discussed doing Kirito, and I have two other brothers that also cosplay a little bit, nowhere near the same
Yeah.
extent, but we were saying we would do all the different versions of Kirito.
Oh,
So,
that would be cool.
um, and my sister, having the long hair, would do the one from the Gun Gale arc where he had long hair
Mm-hmm.
anyway,
Yeah.
or longer hair. She has
Yeah.
pixie cut, but
The
my
pixie
sister
cut.
does.
Yeah. Well, wigs. Wigs.
True.
No big deal. Yeah. So, have you ever been mistaken as a different character before?
Um, I have not. Besides, in the Link costume, you have just the people just being stupid, like "Love your Zelda costume," calling you
Your
Zelda,
Linkle.
calling you.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
the whole thing with Linkle and everything. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
but no genuine mistaken for someone else.
Yeah. I saw one cosplay. It was Cloud Strife, but in the dress.
Okay,
When he had to dress up as the girl and everything, and I was like, heck yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, there's a little umbrella and everything. Yeah.
I have had times where I saw another cosplay and thought they were someone else, and then always felt bad and
Oh,
awkward
don't you
afterwards.
always? Yeah, like when you mistake their cosplay, you're like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna go brush up on my anime. Sorry, but it's always
Exactly.
anime. It's always anime that you get mistaken for because so many anime characters look like the other character.
Yeah.
Because I remember um, this one person came up to me when I was in my Kirito outfit, and he was like, "Oh, you're the butler from." I'm like, "Huh? Persona 5? No. Joker? No. I'm no. Huh. Not him." So many, or the Black Swordsman.
Mhm.
Yeah,
As of right now, most of my costumes have been on the more recognizable side.
yeah.
Mario, Link, Ash, Minecraft Steve. They're
You
unique
can't
enough.
mistake those. Yeah, you can't
Yeah,
mistake those. No, it's true. So when you do, have you ever worn a wig? And if so, did you style it on your own, or did you buy it pre-styled?
I have not done a wig yet. Like with my costume right now, I can just wear a
Not
hat with
not
the.
even for your link.
That is the only one where like I could really get away with
Yeah.
a wig because the other ones it's like hat. But Link even had a hat.
Yes.
It was his classic green tunic, not like the blue Breath of the Wild where he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have a hat. So
Yeah.
even then, though I could, and it would just add a little more volume behind it. I just at the time didn't.
Yeah. No. Yeah. With the tunic, always sew it into your wig. With the hat. That's my tip because that's what I do for my link one. My wife sewed the hat into the wig, and so when I put the wig on, the hat's on there, so you never have to ever have the hat fall off your head.
Good to know.
Yeah,
Though I'll be honest, once or twice, like at a con where I'm not in full costume, sometimes I might just throw the hat on just to have a little something.
yeah, yeah,
So
exactly.
sometimes I like having the hat not attached to anything
Of
else.
course, and there's always cosplays that you can do if you don't want to be in full cosplay. And thanks to Peaky Blinders, we can dress like cool, 1920s gangsters with a hat, and they're like, "Oh, Peaky Blinders." Yeah. So there's so many things with cosplay. It's great. So,
Mhm.
what are all the cosplays that you've done?
So all the cosplay, generic rocker, Minecraft Steve, Mario, Link, Ash. Trying to think if I have more. I've gotten to it relatively recently, maybe past 5 or 6 years, and then just trying to find time to do it all. I can't say I have much more than that. I have like a one or two costumes I've just started on,
Mm-hmm.
but really don't have enough to say I have the cosplay for it yet.
Nice. Well, like you said, you're working on more and you're getting more ideas, and it's really cool that you're branching out with your different cosplays that you've done. So, what's the biggest con that you've cosplayed at?
The biggest con, it's the same con that had the amateur cosplay contest. It's called Awesome Con. My mom's house is about an hour from Washington D.C.
Oh, nice.
and I live more in Central Virginia, but
Okay.
it's like a 3 hour drive. I'm visiting home. I stay for like an extended weekend, take from off from work, and then me and my siblings, if they also took off from work, we'll just go there, spend the day, drive back, do that each day. It's cheaper than getting a hotel.
Yes, lots of a lot cheaper. Yeah.
Mhm,
No, because sometimes, with the convention, you have to calculate the hotel, you have to calculate the travel, the food, and then you're spending at least $500 on just one weekend.
mhm. And then Awesome Con is also nice because they give people the opportunity to volunteer to like work an autograph line for a couple hours or like point people directions and you get in the con for free so then
Yeah.
you can spend it more on the travel. So Awesome Con was just awesome.
Yeah, it was
Hashtag
funny.
not sponsored.
Yeah. So have you ever been in a cosplay panel?
I have not. Um
Hmm. Okay.
would be something I'd like to do, but just haven't had the opportunity yet.
Yeah. I remember when I was in a cosplay panel and the cosplay panel organizer paid for everything. I was like, this is insane. This is so cool. It's like I get to go to a convention for free just to go into a panel for an hour. Woohoo! It's so much fun. I highly recommend them. They're so much fun to do. So when you do cosplay characters with props, do you like find it really hard to have to carry around that prop for all day long, or do you have
Yes.
a handler?
My siblings start to get mad at me if I make them their my handler for too long.
Right?
So sometimes I'll be like, "Can you hold this for a second?" But I try to not do that to my siblings, or if I go with a friend, I try not to do that too much. So it can be tiring, which is why I don't bring out the Minecraft Steve or the Link as much. Link did get a little easier since I got one of those backpacks that also looks like the Hylian shield, so I
Smart.
can still be in costume and stash a lot of my props there. And then just going to a con, it's nice having a backpack anyway, because
True.
tables are always giving out free stuff, or if you want to buy something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the tables, the freebies are always cool at the conventions. So what do you think is the future of cosplay conventions with all this coronavirus and pandemic that's going on? What do you think is the future? Do you think we're going to be going back anytime soon, or do you think it's probably for another year?
I'm praying it's not another year. I mean, things are opening back up. Like yeah, they're requiring mask and that kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um, but things are starting to open up more, so I think we can start easing into it more. I'm hoping by like around next summer,
Hmm.
if not sooner, is when we can like the floodgates will really open.
Yeah.
Because even if things are died down, people will still be cautious about it.
Hmm.
So I'm hoping around that time. And again, if you're wearing some costumes have a mask anyway, so you can put the
Right.
breathing mask underneath and no one will know the difference.
Yeah.
Won't look
Exactly.
like Ash Ketchum, but if you do like the guy with the orange mask from Naruto or the Minecraft Steve box.
Yeah. Or the, Fallout 76, any Fallout cosplay is going to protect you. And it's true because a lot of people say, "Oh, cosplaying, I could do a cosplay with a person in a mask. No problem. We're good. We're protected." But the problem is that not everyone would wear the mask correctly, or not everybody would follow the guidelines, and that's the unfortunate thing. That's why we don't have concerts anymore, because everybody won't do it. They just won't follow through. So, we'll see what the future of cosplay is for a lot of people. It might be just virtual cons for a lot of people, and it's harder for cosplayers to get their name out. But,
Mhm.
we'll see. So have you ever lost something at a convention?
Thankfully, no, I have not lost anything.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
except maybe my friends for a couple hours in the convention center didn't have cell signal. And it's
That's
like,
easy to
where are
do.
you?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. That's easy to do. Lose your friends at a convention. Hmm.
that's the extent of it. It's never been like something valuable or a part of my costume, anything like that.
Nice. So, do you prefer to cosplay solo or do you like to cosplay in a group?
I like both. I've got like plenty of, again, the ever expanding list of what I want to do. It's
Hmm.
like I've got like ones I want to do. Oh, I can do this with this person. I can do this with that. Um, but then also I've got solo costumes. So I do
Hmm.
both. I'm a very social person, very extroverted. So I do like finding ones that I can do with other people.
Nice.
Um, but sometimes it's like I played this game. My sister didn't get into it. I still want to cosplay it, even if it's just me.
Yeah, exactly. So, if you had a chance to meet your all time favorite cosplayer, who would it be and what would you say to them?
That's a tough one because again, I don't know a lot of
Yeah.
like pro cosplayer names.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay, so how about the YouTuber? If you ever had a chance to go up to him,
okay.
um, what would you say to them?
Again, I would first of all thank him because I have found hours of entertainment and inspiration watching his videos, even
Yeah,
if he's usually the guy behind the camera,
yeah.
filming other cosplayers. Um, I would ask him, assuming I'm in costume, hey, can I be featured in one of your videos?
Right.
but,
Exactly.
but I'm always, and I mean always, looking around for like tips, like scouring YouTube. So I'd ask him, like, even though you're behind the screen, have you heard any good tips for if you're trying to do a certain thing, something like that? So see if he's picked up anything.
Nice. So you say that you prefer to make your own cosplays. Why is that?
Well, again, part of it is finances because it's a lot cheaper. And then again, like we mentioned earlier, getting that more personal touch.
Hmm.
Would I like to be able to afford to maybe like get a factory made one that I could then add on to? So there are some parts where I'm like, I know I can't make that.
Yeah.
So get the factory to do it, and then I can what I can specialize in add on to it so it becomes even above what the factory made.
Nice.
Um, but one of the hugest parts is just finances right now.
Yeah. So what is your ultimate dream cosplay right now?
Ultimate dream cosplay, Megaman.exe.
Nice.
So um, that's the version from the Battle Network spin-off series of Mega Man that was on the Game Boy Advance.
Hmm.
Did also have an anime in it. First of all, the third game in the series has been my favorite game for ages, both just because it's a solid RPG and nostalgia. Not gonna lie, nostalgia.
Hmm.
Um, but also the design on Mega Man, though it's still very much that like classic blue arm cannon, that kind of thing. But there's a lot
Yeah.
of details on it that like classic Mega Man just doesn't have.
Nice.
So that would be the ultimate dream.
Cool. Yes, one Mega Man cosplay that I saw, I was like, "How did you make the helmet?" He's like, "Well, you know those shaping helmets for the babies." I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "They make them in adult sizes." So I just bought one of those and painted it blue. I was like, "That's kind of cool, smart."
See,
Yeah,
again, I love finding those like you see on the internet life hack or whatever. It's
yeah,
like you find these cosplay hacks, and it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
brilliant.
It's like, what? I would have never thought of that. So, what is the most difficult cosplay you've done?
Um,
We're just like kept falling apart, and you're like, dude, come on.
either Link or Minecraft Steve. Probably Minecraft Steve because again, it was slightly flimsier materials,
Yeah,
and then even just having a cardboard box mask on your head makes it a whole lot harder to see, and you're a whole lot easier to run into other people or just inanimate objects and trip, and then you've crumpled up your arm, something like that.
yeah, yeah. So, have you ever fallen in your cosplays?
Yes, I have. Again, it was Minecraft
Were you
Steve.
sober? No, that's the
Yes.
question. No, yeah, a lot of people who say, "Oh, I've destroyed cosplays, but I was drunk." So,
No, I'm just clumsy.
yeah, yeah, I'm with you on that one. Yep, just clumsy. It's all right, no big deal. Welcome to the club. So, have you ever done any character makeup?
I have not. Ash is probably the first one I would really look into because he's got these. Best way I can describe him is lightning bolt looking things under his
Mm-hmm.
eyes.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't own any makeup, and since I've moved out, I can't just raid my sister's makeup to be like, hey Amy, what you got for this?
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but like when I do like finally get to actually go to a con, I would probably ask my sister for help with like, hey, can you help me with the lightning bolt thingies?
Yeah. Exactly. So, in your opinion, what makes a cosplayer a professional cosplayer?
If they get paid for it,
Yeah. Okay.
that's probably what and by pay that can either be like just publicity that doesn't count as pay. But if you get invited, like you said, to do a panel and they covered all your expenses, that's still, I would consider that in many ways getting paid. So I would
Yeah.
call that still being a professional cosplayer.
Yeah.
Even if it is more of just a side gig, it's how you get into the cons for free. It's still a professional cosplayer.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. A lot of people like to say, a professional cosplayer is somebody who makes their own cosplay, and when you see somebody in a cosplay where they've put their blood, sweat, and tears into it, it's like an amazing thing. And I've seen it before where the professional cosplayer, quote unquote, was at a panel or at like a guest booth, and they were in a store bought little Snow White outfit. And here comes a girl in the Snow White outfit who's made it from scratch. And you're like, what? What? You're supposed to
Mhm.
be the professional. You're supposed to, not
To make
her
them
who's
make them
in this
scratch was
beautiful
better than the script.
snow. Yeah, and it's like, in my opinion, a professional cosplayer is somebody who makes their own cosplays because it takes so much time, so much effort, so much energy to create something. And once it's done, you love it. Like my wife, she made this dress behind me. A lot of people say it's the Outlander dress that the girl wore in the TV show Outlander. Nope, that's her own design. She came out of her head and she made a pattern herself and everything like that. So, that talent, I'm like, whoa. Me
Mhm.
me as a cosplayer, I'm just eye candy. That's all I am. And whereas my wife is my designer, my kid is my photographer, you know, so you find these methods of like, oh, I found a good cosplay designer. I want to keep them, and stuff like that. So
That
yeah,
again, how I deal with my sister
yeah,
and
with the props. Yep. Yep. So
no,
like, yeah, no, exactly. When you find that perfect pairing, then you're good. So what is your favorite part about cosplaying?
probably my favorite part is when you do get to show it off and like again being a performer like I am.
Mm-hmm.
I went to school to study music, so I like being on stage performing that kind of thing. So when I get to go to a con and actual people are like, yo, can I get a picture? Or just like again being able to be the character, that's always
Mm-hmm.
one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
um like I remember I went to one convention and I was in my Link costume and I met a guy who was dressed as Marth from Fire Emblem.
Okay.
And they're both in Smash Bros. So I like try and do one of those like Smash Bros. Face off pictures. And I being the goofy performer I am, say, Marth, I challenge you to a duel and pull out my sword.
Mm-hmm.
He replied to me in actual Japanese voice lines like what show up in Smash Bros. And like other people are starting to like pull out their phones, not just my friend who
Yeah,
I
of
asked
course.
to take care of this.
Yeah, of
And
course.
like I broke character for a second. I'm like, I'm not sure how to reply to that.
I'm like, oh.
And I'm like, wait. well, excuse me, princess, and that made him break character. But just this whole like back and forth
Yeah.
performing dynamic, it's just so much fun to me.
Yeah. It's hilarious because a lot of people they remember the cartoon of Link and Legend of Zelda and everything. And so when you say, "Well, excuse me, princess," they're like, "Oh my god, that's
Yeah, like
amazing!"
again, not just the guy as Marth, but like these people taking pictures, they all just start laughing. That was great.
Yeah, it's hilarious because it's unfortunately it was one of the worst cartoons of the lineup, but still they had their moments with the sound bites, everything. So like everything, there's good and there's the evil. So what are some bad things about cosplay that you found?
Um, you do get people that like as cheesy as it sounds, you hear it all the time. Cosplay does not mean consent,
Mm-hmm.
as we mentioned earlier. Particularly girls using
Yeah,
doing the more showy cosplays.
yeah,
But that doesn't mean you can touch them. That's not what it means.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and then also this this is a separate point, but also some people who they're in a costume, but they also seem upset when you ask them, "Hey, can I get a picture?" And I get it.
Oh,
Everyone's entitled like to do what they want, and they can decline it. But sometimes they almost seem upset that you even ask. And I'm like, you're camera shy, or you're trying to get to a panel. That's fine. Um,
yeah,
but sometimes I'm like, at least don't act surprised if someone asks you.
right.
And if you can't do it for whatever reason, there's a polite and not polite way to decline.
Yeah,
And I have encountered one or two where it's the less polite. And I'm like,
yeah. The
hey,
So you're like, wow, okay, well, she's the capital. Hmm? Yeah, no, exactly. You're gonna find that. So have you ever ran into cosplay drama yet?
I thankfully have not. And part of it might be just because relatively speaking, I would still consider myself newer to it. So I
Hmm.
haven't maybe been as deep to
Yeah,
encounter that. So
exactly.
thankfully no.
Yeah, because there's lots of things where it happens mostly with girl cosplayers because one girl doesn't like the other girl, or they're dressed in the same cosplay as them and they're the looking better than them, and so they get jealous. And
If I see someone dressed in the same costume as me, whether it's
I'm gonna
better or
geek out. That's what I'm gonna
I'm
do.
gonna geek out.
I'm like, I'm gonna
I went
love
to
it.
a con once in my Mario costume, and my I met another guy dressed as Mario.
Yeah,
I got a picture of us posing like that Spider-Man meme where they're pointing at each other.
yeah,
Or my brother was dressed as Punisher, and because I forget his name, but the guy who played Punisher in the Netflix series was there.
yeah,
So there were a lot of Punishers,
yeah.
and my brother was getting so many pictures, and with everyone, I was making the joke about, well, one of you is going to have to go home and change, and no. And my brother, like a champ, we found one guy who was willing. I actually got a picture of them doing a pose, like they're arguing about who's going to go home and change.
Yeah,
Um, so,
nice.
but that's how we look at it, or at least I look at it. We play it as a joke or like geek out. You did it too.
Yeah, P Fluff says learning from others is the best way to learn. Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, exactly. I strongly, agree with that because you're going to learn from somebody like when you were in your cosplay contest as Link. How many other Links were there?
There were a couple others.
Yeah,
Um,
there's always
and
a couple more of what you do.
yeah,
So
especially like the big name characters like Link or Mario. There's
yeah.
always going to be others.
Yeah, exactly. And so you're going to have that possibility of learning, "Oh, hey, how did you sew this last part on?" or "How did you do this?" And a lot of times cosplayers are like more than willing to share their craftsman tips and craftsmanship tips. I've never yet met a cosplayer that didn't want to talk to you. But luckily in Arizona we have a very huge um cosplayer community that is always 100% on board of helping each other. It's not like a competition. Now, if you had two cosplayers like Jessica Nigri and let's say Sapphire Nova cosplay, where they were in a competition together, okay, yes, there's a little bit,
But
rivalry.
that's kind of the definition of the word competition.
Yeah, so you got to go into your competition mode, of course. Yes. But after that, they're probably talking and sharing ideas and everything like that. So you never know. So
Mhm.
what's the future of cosplay with now that you've learned what you've learned, what's the future of Matt?
Well, I definitely want to do it more. I'm definitely just like as I'm going, like you said, learning from any resource I can find, really just like, hey, this is cool. I want to add to it. And so I don't really see any stopping of the cosplay, whether I can make it a full-time job or not. Who knows? Part of me says, like, again, I've studied music, so I would like to incorporate that into a career, but the future definitely doesn't show the cosplay showing slowing down.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, I hope to improve it, make it better.
Yeah. So is there anything you want to tell your fans that might watch this, or watch the rebroadcast?
Um, don't be ashamed or scared of small beginnings. Again, all I'm nowhere near far, but like all this started with the last minute throwing on my leather jacket and spiking my hair, and it turned into a hobby that I really enjoy. So don't be ashamed of small beginnings.
Nice. Well, thank you, Matt, for coming on to the show. I appreciate your
Thanks for
time.
having me.
You know, and those in the chat, if you have any questions for Matt before we go, feel free to type into the chat and everything like that. If you like what you see, click the follow button. Helps us out. Helps out the stream. If you're watching the Breed broadcast, all the links to Matt's socials are down below. Follow him. You make sure you support him, because every cosplayer needs the support from every one of us. Because without the contributions of the viewers, without the contributions of the fans, cosplay doesn't happen because it, one, is expensive. Two, it gives your support and your respect to the cosplayer by donating to them. And yeah, so thank you again, Matt. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
So take care, and we'll see you guys tomorrow when we are interviewing another cosplayer. So take care, guys. Bye.